Today we're going to go in the hive. This hive was put together when the bees swarmed about a month or so ago. And beehives will swarm for a couple different reasons. The main reason is that it's their natural way to procreate. So it's kind of like if parents filled up the fridge, filled up the bank accounts, and paid off the mortgage on a house and left 1/3 of their children and took the other 2/3 with them and went to start a new house. So in the old hive, a new queen set up shop, one of their own children, who they used royal jelly, which is a supplement that they give to the bees, and it produces queens. So they have a new queen in the old hive, and then this is the original queen. And so she brought her bees with her, and now they formed a separate hive, and that's how they procreate naturally in the wild. And so that's good for a lot of reasons. One, it gives them a time because she stops laying eggs, and so there's no new bees being created, and so some of the parasites that need to live on the larva stop procreating. So it gives them a chance to kind of clean themselves and start over, literally. So we're going to go in today and see how it's doing and see how she is. First we started with just the one box, the green box, and then they were doing so well we put on the second box, the white box. So we're going to go and see how they are today and go from there. So when the bees swarmed, I had to go up in the tree and collect them. And what they do is the queen will land on a certain branch, and then all the bees swarm around her. And they're not aggressive at this time, so they have gorged themselves on honey, left their old hive, and now they are going to go search for a new hive. So the beekeeper has to race and get them collected before they go off and find their own hive. Because a bundle of bees these days will cost you anywhere from $100 to $150. So you want to get them, collect them, and put them in their new location. So that's what I was doing. So I was going up on a ladder, and they landed on a thick branch. So I had to sweep them into a bucket and put them in here. Then ultimately I had to cut down the branch because it was too thick and put them here so I could make sure the queen's in. Once the queen is in the new hive, the rest will follow. They'll send out a chemical signal to everyone in the hive, and they'll say that she's here and come down. So that's what they do. So that's what I was trying to do to make sure that they could get collected before they took off. So now we're going to I'm going to suit up, and then we're going to go inside the hive to make sure that she's laying and the bees are healthy, and that they're doing what they need to do to get ready for the winter. Look for just to see if they're starting to build out wax comb, and if she's up here in this box laying eggs and producing honey for the winter. So they may not be quite at that stage. We'll see. So what the bees are doing, so this is a brand new frame. So you can see it's a kind of a plastic background. And so what they're doing now is they're building out wax so they can start to fill it with honey and or larvae to make new bees. So that's what this is here. It's brand new honey, a brand new comb rather. And so they're going to fill this all eventually with that. So these bees are pretty quiet because they just got smoked. The smoke kind of confuses them. Oh, there you can see there's some honey there. So they build a little honeycomb on this feral comb down here. Right, that's all filled with honey. So they're still working on things, and hopefully they're going to get it together enough to build this out. I might have to feed them a little bit this fall. You can see here's a drone, that big fat guy there. That's a big drone. It's a male bee. There's another one. Their only role is to procreate. They don't do much. So we're going to put these back in. I've seen what I need to see. So the hive is doing pretty well, and we'll just kind of let them go about their business. It's like a filing cabinet, and it's filled with frames. Usually can fit about 10 per box. And then they fill these up with honey and other products. The reddish stuff is a stuff called propolis. It's a product that uses kind of a cement. It's antifungal, it's antibacterial, and you can kind of see it here, and it's really sticky. I mean, some people sell it as a hive product like honey would be, or wax. Some people take it internally, thinking it will help them ward off colds or things like that. But the bees use it as a glue and as a way to kind of help sanitize the hive. They kind of coat it with that. And so we can open up another frame and see how they're doing on that. And if they can fill this up with honey, then they'll do a good job, of a good chance of surviving the winter without my help. If they can't fill it with honey, oh yeah, here we go. We're doing a great job here. So this is a nice one. They've really gone to work on this one. They filled all that with wax and honey. And see, the honey this time of year is super dark. So they're into something that's incredibly dark. Sometimes they'll go into like blackberries. Sometimes they'll go into my figs and take the nectar from there. And they're all feeding on that nectar right now because I put the smoke on them. And so they think there's a huge fire coming their way, so they're gorging in preparation to have to flee the hive. And you can see here, this is also beautiful wax on this side, filled with honey. So they're doing a great job getting ready for the winter. So the honey has to be dried out so that the has I think a limited amount of water in it, and then it can be stored for months, years on end. But they won't keep it that long. They just use it to feed themselves this winter. So this hive is looking really healthy. And they're doing just what they need to do to survive the winter, which they're preparing for right now. And we're going to let them do that. So I'm going to put this away and close them up because I know what I need to know. So this is the hive where all the bees came from that filled the hive we were just at. So we have a photo you can see of them kind of starting to boil out of the hive. And you can have as many as 5,000 or more bees in the air. It's quite a sound. And they're just on their way to look for a new hive. So this hive, you can see, it still has bees coming and going, and it's still active with its new queen. She's in there laying eggs. So now instead of having one hive, I have two hives. And you just have to make sure that they have enough food to get through the winter. And so you might have to subsidize their diet. They're bringing in from all the flowers in the area with some sugar water so that they can build up enough honey. The sugar water is not ideal, but it's better than starvation, and they turn that into honey. So that's what they're doing, and they're pretty healthy. They're also pretty quiet. They're just going about their business. You can tell when a hive is healthy and doing right because it's called queen right. So that means they have a healthy queen. If they don't have a healthy queen, you can kind of tell they're a little more agitated, a little more aggressive, and you can kind of sense that when you are around the hive or in the hive. So I've checked this hive out earlier and they're doing fine. So that's what we got going on. Thanks for tuning in.